Hi, my name's Jason, and I'm excited to welcome you to the first part of our candle making series for beginners. In 2020, I embarked on a candle making side hustle that since then blossomed into a fully blown successful venture. In 2022, I generated just over £50,000 of revenue, which is something incredible, something I thought I'd never be able to do. And what I want to do in this video is to share some of the fundamentals and lessons I've learned along the way. But before we get into that, what is candle making? Candle making is both an art and a science. It allows you to craft beautiful, fragrant, and fully functional candles at home. Whether you're looking to create personalized gifts, or explore your creative side, or maybe even start a candle business like I did. The journey is rewarding, enjoyable, but it can be a bit frustrating. So I want to go over terminology and bits like that in this video. But a candle is essentially a fuel-burning vessel at its very sort of core. It's a combustion engine. And what I'll be using to describe what I've been doing is container candles. I've got the most experience with those, and it's what I've been working on, it's what I've built my business around. This might be a bit obvious, but candle making involves melting wax, adding fragrance, a bit of colour, and then allowing the mixture to solidify around a wick. But there's more to it than meets the eye, so let's delve deeper into some of the basics. Equipment you're going to need to get started. Before you dive into the world of candle making, it's essential to gather the right equipment. I tried to do it in the beginning by bodging it and fixing it and just trying to use what was lying around the home, and it did work, but to scale it just didn't really help. So I recommend just getting a few bits and just doing it properly from the beginning and just starting as you mean to go on, because it was a bit of a nightmare. Wax. The first thing you're going to need is some wax, the foundation of any candle. And there's plenty to choose from. We've got paraffin wax, we've got soy wax, we've got coconut wax, palm wax, beeswax, the list goes on. There's plenty to choose from. What I use is a soy and coconut wax blend. It's got really good benefits and it's what I've stuck with, and it just works perfectly for me. There are loads of different characteristics to each wax, and you just need to decide what kind of values you want and just spend a bit of time researching it. But I'm going to make another video about different types of wax, so we'll leave that for now. Next, you're going to need a wick. The wick is what carries the flame. Wicks come in different sizes and materials, and selecting the right one depends on your candle size and its intended use. Wicking is probably the hardest part about candle making, as you want to get a good melt pool so your candle doesn't tunnel, and you just want it to not be too high with the flame and cause potential fire hazards, and you don't want it to be small because, like I said, it's going to cause tunneling. So getting a wick and getting it done properly takes a bit of time. And we're going to need some fragrance. To infuse your candle with delightful scents, you'll need fragrance oils or essential oils. These aromatic elements are crucial for creating candles that captivate the senses. And for me personally, there's no point making a candle if it doesn't smell good. Dye. If you want to add colour to your candles, dye blocks or liquid dyes are the way to go. Be sure to choose colours that complement your chosen fragrances. Melting pot. A heat-resistant container for melting your wax. A double boiler setup works really well to ensure even heating. As I've scaled up, I use a big sort of 10-litre soup kettle in the background. That means I could do quite a lot of candles at once. I've also got a Presto, like little cooker thing with a spout, and that means I can do small batches quite quickly. But what I started with was a double boiler, and that just helped me make my first sort of 20 to 30 candles just to experiment. I don't recommend heating up directly in a saucepan because that does cause heating issues from my own experience. Scales. Scales are super important as we weigh everything in candle making, a mistake I made in the beginning. Because at first I thought melted wax is liquid, right? I'll measure it like a liquid, but we have to weigh everything in grams to make sure everything's accurate. The problem is different waxes and different fragrances have different densities, so they all weigh differently. So you need to measure it, trust me. You'll need a thermometer to monitor the wax temperature correctly. What I use is just a cheap sort of £10 one on Amazon. I just sort of dip it in, it works pretty quick and pretty speedy. Some people have those little infrared ones to do it from a distance, but I wouldn't spend too much money on it. They don't last very long, so cheap and cheerful, just replace it every now and then. But because in candle making we need to get the wax to a certain temperature, and then we need to pour it at certain temperatures, add fragrance oils at certain temperatures. To do that properly and accurately, you need a thermometer. I didn't have one in the beginning, and it caused me a lot of variables in my candle making. I'd get frosting, I'd get sinkholes, I'd get just all sorts of problems. I'd get essential oils sort of bleeding out because I didn't add them at the right temperature. So just make sure you get a thermometer. You're going to need a few utensils as well, things to stir the wax around, maybe a ladle to scoop out the wax, jugs to pour it. So just make sure you got like a nice variety of utensils. Now that we've gathered the supplies to make your candles, let's explore some common candle terminology, because there's quite a few different words thrown around. So number one, hot and cold throw. These terms refer to how a candle's fragrance is perceived. Hot throw is the scent released when the candle is burning, while cold throw is the scent that the candle has when it's unlit. So when you open a candle and smell it, that's the cold throw. They're both essential for candle making, and getting the balance of both of them is tricky, because you want people to buy a candle by smelling it, but you also want it to fill the room when they light it. Fragrance load, this is a percentage of fragrance oil or essential oil relative to the wax. Finding the right fragrance load ensures your candles have the desired scent strength. For me, the wax I'm using is coconut soil wax, and that can take up to 10% fragrance load. So you need to double check with the wax you're using what fragrance load it can take. Some soil waxes can only take up to 6%. So you need to just work it out and make sure you don't put too much in or too little, because you'll get problems either end of the spectrum. Essential oils versus fragrance oils. Essential oils are derived from natural sources like plants, whereas fragrance oils are synthetic scents. Both can be used in candle making, and your choice depends on your preference. Wicks, let's dive into wicks quickly. They come in different sizes and different materials, including cotton, wooden, and a few more. They play a crucial role in how your candle burns, determining factors like the flame, rate of wax consumption. Wicking up is the term that means using a bigger and thicker wick. Similarly, wicking down is using a smaller wick and like a thinner wick. Melt pool, how the candle performs generally. For a candle to perform well, we need the melted wax to hit the side of the jar, thus burning down nice and smoothly and creating enough of a wax pool to release a scent. If the melt pool is too sort of narrow, the candle's going to tunnel and you won't get much scent release, and the candle just won't last very long. Which leads me on to the term tunneling, which I've just explained. So that's when the candle tunnels down the middle, and like I said, you don't get any scent coming out, and it just doesn't last very long, it doesn't burn effectively. So you can have two ends of the spectrum. Once again, you can have a melt pool which is too big, so your candle burns too quickly and can be a bit dangerous because the flame's too high, or you can have a candle with a wick too small, which tunnels and just doesn't work very effectively. These basic terms will be invaluable as you progress in your candle making journey. In the upcoming parts of this series, we'll delve deeper into specific candle techniques, designs, and troubleshooting common issues. I'm thrilled to have you join me on this candle making adventure. Whether you're a beginner or you're looking to refine your skills, this series will provide you with the knowledge and inspiration to create stunning candles that can light up your life and the lives of those around you. But yeah, be sure to stay tuned. I'll, like I said, be posting way more videos about candles. Like the video if you found it useful, and subscribe for more. See you later.